I got bad light.
Hello there. It is Faith Talk Live. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
Well, the doctor is in, and that is not a green screen behind him. That is a real psychiatrist couch that he's going to have Dan lay on and read ink blots.
It looks comfy. I could take a nap on that one right there.
Yeah, it's Gary Layne, Functional Christianity. It looks good.
Yeah. Thank you. Trying to work hard to make a safe place for people to come and share. A lot of times I'm in counseling and people say, I've never said this to anybody, or I've never said this out loud. It's been in my head. And so this just is trying to create a safe space for people. And that's probably a lot of it. So yeah, nice couch that's comfortable, secure room that, no one's going to walk in and say, what are you doing here? So this is upstairs in our home. So this is where we do the intensive. So there's an intensive couch right there. So
that's very intense looking.
Yeah, it's a beautiful couch. And so we've redone the bathroom upstairs and redone the room so that now it's just that we've kind of kicked it up a notch, as they say.
Yeah. Now, looking at your couch, it makes me think of that Progressive commercial where they try to teach you how to not be your parents. And the one, he takes all the pillows off. He says, do we need all these pillows?
Yeah, those are... No comment.
As long as there's the chop in the middle, you're good.
Yeah, I have to chop them all before I got on the air.
Now, if you're watching Facebook Live or YouTube Live, if you'll look way, way back there, right next to the bookshelf, there is that an M&M machine, a gumball machine, and who refills it?
Let's see right there. That's an old-fashioned gumball machine and glass and cast iron or whatever they were made out of, and right now it has some pretty old M&Ms in it, peanut M&M. And so I refill it, but I don't think I've put any in there in a year. But it went down recently. We had a person come in and put the new carpet in this office for me for the new couch and things. And while they moved it around to put new carpet in, I think they ate some. So, but that's good. At peanut M&M.
You brought up something that we didn't even discuss talking about this, but it's a thought. You said that people will tell you things that's in their head. How good is it for us to tell somebody what's in our head? I mean, I want to tell stuff to people in traffic, but that doesn't help me at all.
I guess it depends on what's in your head, right?
But somebody like you, how important, instead of me keeping it in my head, how much more healing, freeing is it for me to discuss that with somebody that can actually help me through it?
It's intensely freeing and it's intensely healing because we don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
And what happens is our mind focuses on that. And so we're doing our job, but we're still thinking about, man, this problem. And it seems to be a problem or an issue, however you want to say that politely. But our brain is thinking about it, trying to come up with solutions, trying to find a resolve to the issue. And so it bothers us, and we don't even see it as stress. We don't even see it as angst, but it is. That's why I love to, my mother taught me a phrase a million years ago. I don't know where she got it, but she said, the dullest pencil is better than the sharpest mind. And to write things down, to get things out of our heads really is important. And we don't. So we wander around going, do people think I'm an idiot, or I think I'm an idiot, or man, I can't make this make sense, or what am I supposed to do in this situation? And so we ruminate and process things all the time. And it builds our anxiety levels quite a bit, and our stress levels quite a bit. And so to come here and to say, I just have these things going on that I don't really want to talk to my spouse about my spouse, because it's not really good to say, hey, you're a terrible person.
That doesn't usually go over well.
No. I think Tim Hawkins had things you should not say to your wife.
Don't say to your wife. Yes, you're right.
Yeah, don't. There's a lot of things you don't want to say to your wife.
Yeah.
You feel like you need to say them, but what we do is we always try to come up with a solution. And so what happens is we tend to want to tell the other person how to behave so that we'll be okay. So in other words, Rick, if you would stop growing that beard, I would like you more.
Yeah.
And so you see, it's your fault that I don't like you because you've grown a beard that I don't like.
Yeah.
So you need to cut your beard and then I'll feel better. And so we tend to always say things, and it's a bad habit, but we've learned it somehow, is like, Rick, you got to cut your beard. And you feel like, well, why is this person hating on me? Because I have a beard. Well, I'm not okay with you having a beard for some reason, who knows? But I need you to cut it so that I'll be okay. And so we tend to tell people what to do so that I'll be okay. And that's kind of not right. So in counseling, here's the secret to counseling, right? The secret is you come in here and say, like, it's driving me crazy that Rick has this big beard. And I keep trying to get him to cut it off, but he won't. And it's making me nutty. And I don't even want to be around the guy anymore. He says, like, great, let's talk about why it bothers you that Rick has a beard. But in life, if you don't sit down with a counselor, you don't sit down with someone that you can be honest with and go, I hate Rick's beard and I don't know what to say about it. then Rick, I don't.
He really hates your beard. I mean,
it's coming out now.
Gary, we need to talk about this.
I'm jealous. Look, I can only get 3 or 4 inches to grow. It's taking me 60 years to get this much. I mean, it's ridiculous. But that's what we do. We tend to come up with a solution that will fix our problem, we think, which is you change and I'll be okay.
That's almost like conditional love, isn't it?
It's very conditional, but it's also an attempt. It's selfish because it's an attempt for me to feel better. And I think that if you'll change, I'll feel better, which is delusional.
Yeah.
But that's what we think. And it's in our head, and we don't have anybody to go and talk to about it. And so that's why counseling isn't because I'm screwed up and I'm going to jump off a cliff or something. Counseling is there's stuff going on that I need to talk to somebody about, help clear my head, even just focus on something a little bit more intensely or intentionally. So yeah, there is a lot of stuff going on in our heads that needs to come out and talk to a person. And I think God created our spouses for a lot of that. But if it is our spouse, it's really hard to talk to them about that. And if they're not understanding, then they either oppose you and go, well, that's stupid. You should just stop thinking that Rick needs to cut his beard. And it's like, well, that just makes me feel worse because now I'm a bad person for thinking that.
Right.
So there's a lot. Yeah. Come and see me.
Yeah.
I love your beard, Rick.
No, thanks.
But it's,
I don't know.
but
I'm feeling the hate, Rick. It's I think he's picturing you chopping it off right now in his head.
No, just don't ever comb it over. Okay. Just don't.
Yeah. Don't do that.
Somebody mentioned that yesterday. If I were going to grow it really, really much longer and then comb it backward, like Cousin It, remember on the Addams Family?
That's right.
Yeah.
No, I'm not that old.
Yeah. Now, how many couples do you have that sit there on the couch and one of them will bring up something like, we'll keep with Rick's beard. His beard is just driving me crazy. And then the husband goes, wait a minute, why is this about me? And that you have to work through the fight before you can finally get to the resolution.
Yes, there is some of that. And that inhibits some people from wanting to share.
Right.
And so we kind of have some ground rules where we don't. I try to rephrase the thought. In other words, when I see Rick's beard, it makes me feel, and so I turn it back to me.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, what is going on inside of me that Rick's beard disturbs?
Right.
If you've got a glass, if you've got a jar, I did this analogy like way back 100 years ago. If you had a jar and it had a little layer of dirt in the bottom, if you don't shake the jar, the dirt stays in the bottom. But man, life seems to be the thing that shakes your jar and all the dirt comes up.
Yeah.
And so what we want to do is we want to get that water cleaned out so there's no dirt in there. And I think God sometimes uses the things of life to shake us, to bubble up. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he, is a phrase out of the Psalms or the Proverbs there. But so many times the heart is thought of as bad when it's really good. God gave us a new heart. And so we have love and we have patience and kindness in our heart, but we don't know how to express it because we have it's blocked by pain. And so you do have to reframe the question. You have to say like, whoa, okay, It's not about Rick's beard. It's about what it does to you. And I tell people all the time, it's like, you know what? Your spouse has a beard and it makes you crazy. Doesn't bother me at all. Why doesn't it bother me? Because it's not intimate. It's not personal for me. Yeah. I don't have an attachment to Rick's beard, but somehow they've made an attachment, and they think the beard is the problem. And so they come up with a solution, which is an easy solution: cut your beard.
You know, this beard has a life of its own now.
I'm telling you. You call me doctor, not a doctor. I'll call you beard, not a beard.
There
Rick.
you go.
Dr. Gary Layne, Functional Christianity. I read an article this morning, and it said during the pandemic, of course, people are still well, I mean, we're working at home a few days a week, but, you know, at some point, a lot of the entire household at home. And this gave opportunity for this particular article was talking about how that married folks were going back and trying to find their ex-partners. So what, to me, I figured, well, you know, probably I know that our family spent a lot of time together, and we purposely tried to stay out of each other's way so we didn't get in under each other's skin. Okay, because normally we'd be at work, right? So I think in these cases where this article comes from is that folks just had enough of, you know, spending all day with my spouse. And I just need some kind of something. That's to me, that's folks that have stuff in their heads and they're not talking about it.
That's the jar that has it. Yeah. COVID shook everybody's jar.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Instead of going in a positive sense to try to fix the problem, trying to find another way, which is a terrible way.
Yeah,
that's why they're your ex.
Yeah.
And I had two thoughts. You know, there's an old poster that has 4 fields, and there's a cow in each field, and they all have their heads into the other cow's field eating its grass. You know, the grass always seems to be greener.
Yep.
But then, you know, way back at the very beginning, when Adam and Eve had problems, the first thing they did was they were afraid of God and they hid, and then they tried to fix it themselves. And so, you know, they sewed fig leaves together. And so it's human nature to think, oh, I have something's disturbing me, and so the answer is to get rid of the thing that's disturbing me. And that's not really the answer. You know, David in the Psalms, I was reading Psalm 56, it said, when I'm afraid or when there's things that are against me, I'll put my trust in the Lord. In the Lord I trust, and who can harm me? And so there's this whole idea that, yeah, I have a solution in my head. The answer is to get a new person, a person that likes me. And a lot of times, you know, Casting Crowns has a great song called A Slow Fade. And we sort of get off track, and we start thinking someone else or some other thing. I call them nouns. Other people, other places, or other things will solve my problem. And yet the really old hymn says only Jesus satisfies. And so there's so many verses in the Bible, and it uses older language, but you know, the name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run in and they are saved. And so we don't know what a strong tower is. We don't know that unless it's some kind of internet company. But in other words, God is a place of safety. God is the place of safety. And when there's danger, when there's fear, run into the Lord, and he will be your salvation in all of that. That's where David said, I will put my trust in the Lord. And so we don't know how to practically do that. We think the solution is find another person, another place, or another thing, and that will fix my problem.
Yeah.
And Solomon said, what is it, Ecclesiastes? Vanity, vanity. It's like chasing the wind. And so keep trying, folks. But when you're done, come and see me or talk to somebody and say, or even just be honest with God. Just be honest with God and say, like, God, here's my stuff. Because he already knows it.
Right.
But now you realize it. Say, God, here's my stuff. Will you show me how to trust you with my stuff instead of me trying to fix it?
Dr.
If we
Gary,
say any more, I say if we do more, we'll have to either have another hymn or an invitation or an offering.
Pass the bucket. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you should have a bucket there.
Yeah.
Dr. Gary.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, you do? Dr. Gary Layne, Functional Christianity. I was going to say something, and I just had a thought, and it's gone now.
That's what happens when you get older. Trust me. Yeah.
Oh, I know what it was. There's a scripture in Proverbs that says there's wisdom in the multitude of counselors. So I think sometimes, I know this is me talking personally. If I get caught up in my own ways to fix it, it's just my strength I'm working on, or my level of experience or inexperience. But if I go to someone that's ahead of me in some way, then I can kind of pick their brain and say, oh, okay, well, I never saw it that way before. If I never go to counseling or ask someone else's opinion, then I'm stuck in my own little world. And, my world's a little dangerous, actually.
Sometimes you just need the fresh perspective of somebody else who has more of the 30,000-foot view than you do, where you're down in the muck, and they can help you see the perspective.
And that's what's so great about being here. And we make fun of my couch and everything, but I've had couples come in, sit down, and start crying. Yeah. And I've said, good morning, welcome to my office, and have a seat. And then, and it's this safety. It's this place of safety and of security that says it's all right. And it's going to be all right. It's always interesting. Jesus told the disciples to get in the boat and go across the lake, and they encountered a giant storm. He's kind of like, I don't want to go in that storm. But what did he do? In the middle of that storm, he met them, came walking on the water and met them in the middle of the storm. So there isn't a storm in life that you'll go through that God isn't interested in, and he's not in it with you. Mm-hmm. It's not like he said, I'm going to test you and see you on the other side. It's like, no, let's go through this together. Let me walk you through this. And, the old saying is, I only saw one set of footprints in the sand, and they, the poem is that, that's when I was carrying you, said the Lord. So it seems to be, we seem to have gone through COVID year 1, and now we're in COVID year 2, and people they're just had enough. I mean, they held it together in their own strength for as long as they could. And now this is too much. And we're seeing that in society today. We're seeing the breakdown of society and the anger towards each other. And, I counted my French fries, and there weren't enough French fries in my thing. I finally got to go to a restaurant, and it took them too long to give me my food. And, we're angry. We've got all this pent up anger. And so to sit with someone and to share with them and have them say, it's okay. God is here. God cares. Let's see what's going on. Helps you sort of dissect what's going on and understand that God is in the midst of it with you, and he loves you so deeply, and he wants the very best. But we have to kind of let go of the rope so that he can catch us.
I didn't know you saw me counting my fries the other day, Gary.
I'll tell you what, man.
They were supposed to give me 24. I only got 21, so I was upset.
Well, that's how you keep out of inflation. You don't. There's still $1. You only get half as many.
Yeah, exactly.
Dr. Gary Layne, Functional Christianity, functionalchristianity.com. We got to take a break in a second. I know you do bring couples from time to time together there. What do you have coming up?
I'm leaving for 60 days. I'm supposed to be in Croatia, and I'm going to be, Croatia, flying through Amsterdam and heading to Croatia to work with European ministries called GraceNet. It's all the grace-based ministries throughout Europe. They're going to meet in Croatia. And then, believe it or not, it's only been little over, maybe not quite 20 years since the Bosnian-Serbian war. And there's a lot of ministries that have worked with a lot of hurting people. And so I'm going there to encourage the leadership. Sometimes they want to sit down with me with one-on-ones and talk about what's going on in their head. Sometimes they're discouraged because they don't see results in their ministry. And so I'll be there for October, two weeks in October, first 2 weeks of October, to help just to refresh and to give some hope or remember their hope, which is in Christ in Croatia. That's next. And then who knows? I've got some open dates in Africa, South Korea.
Wow.
Just can't get there yet.
Well, be sure to bring your little M&M jar with you to Croatia. That would be fun.
Exactly. They have some good candies there, though.
Yeah.
Dr. Gary Layne, Functional Christianity. Hey, when you get back, look, come on the show. We'll talk about what you talked about there. Did you say 60 days?
Yeah, I leave October the 2nd. So it's August, September. Yeah.
Is Allison going with you, or are you going by yourself?
No, I'm going to go by myself on this one. It's kind of a long trip, and I spend a lot of days, teaching during the day and counseling at night. So it's not like it's a sightseeing kind of trip. It's more of a stay there and work really hard for 2 weeks.
It's a work trip. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm usually exhausted when I get back.
Be careful. We'll pick up with you when you get back. You say you're leaving in August. Is that what you said?
October 2nd.
Oh, October.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk to you before then. We'll talk to you
All
before
right.
you go. Yeah, we'll do that.
One more time.
Yeah. We need to go
Thanks,
over
you guys.
We need to go over there in the room there and
sit down on the couch there, lay down on the couch. It'll be fun.
Do a live show with Dr. Gary Layne. FunctionalChristianity.com. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
This is Faith Talk Live.